Okay, so welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today is going to be part one of setting these tanks up for the breeding project. I got a couple things here. I've got a gang valve, two 5.5 gallon aquariums, and then I've got some 8-foot tubing for all of the tanks. I also do have some sponge filters, like the one in here that I've been cycling for a couple days now. I don't know what I want to do with that. I've just been cycling that. But yeah, let's get into the build. Okay, so I ordered a set of 3 of these sponges. They're good for up to, I think it was 10 gallons. Yeah, they're good for up to 10 gallons. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set these up, and I'm thinking just placing these in here. Just like this, and then using a air pump, and then using this gang valve. So the air will come in here, and then I'll send out the air out of these ones and down into here and get these flowing. So I think that'll be good, but let's get to going. There you go. Okay, so what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this one, and I might place it over here. You can't see, oh, you can see it a little bit up here. I think I'm gonna place it here, and then send my air hose up this way and into here, and then down like that. Yeah, I like that idea. Let's go with that. So you gotta get yourself a pair of scissors. Open this up. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect this air hosing. So I'm not gonna use this one anymore. Toss that over there. Yank this one out of that one. Okay, so now we're gonna need an air tube to go from about here to here. So I should leave myself a little room. Think about there. Actually, I'm gonna go about maybe there. Cut it. Okay. So now I've got my air tubing. Just gonna grab this. Push it right onto here. There we go. And then I'll go up the back. Go up the back, grab this. Then we're just gonna wanna put it right onto the gang tube. The gang valve. So what's cool about this, again, you can change the amount of airflow you want on this using these. It's pretty cool. So yeah, we got that hooked up. I think maybe actually I want to do something like this. Yeah, give me 1 second. I've got something for this. Always want to keep some command strips around because you never know when you might need these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to place this right on the back side of this, like so, and then Just like that. Now that's on there. So now what we want to do is get our air tubing again. So we're going to want to run the air tubing into here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this into here. And I will just push the, I gotta push this piece onto here. So maybe it wasn't a good idea to put that on there just yet. Just like that. That's seated. Pull that taut. Just kind of push that back on there. Just like that. And now I only need it to go to about here. This one will be the grow out tank. And this one will be the fry tank. Or actually, this one will be the fry tank. But nonetheless, I only need about that much tubing. So let's cut that. Put this over here on the little stool I got over here with all my supplies on it. Put that back up there. Now, take and put the cover on it. There we go, there's one. Okay, so now let's get this piece. Sometimes it's easier to get these warm before you work with them, but it doesn't really matter. So now we got this piece on here. Again, just want to pull that taut. And then we'll just feed this one down here. Again, put the cover on. And then straight down. And there we go. And now that one's going. So now we just need to fill these. That's gonna take a while. So I will just do a time lapse of how quickly it takes us to fill this. Okay, so now that these tanks are all filled, we can now just kind of squeeze these. They're sponge, so you just kind of gotta let the water in. That one's in. This one a couple of squeezes. There we go. And now come over here. Let's move this one just slightly out of the way. Now it's just a matter of opening the gang valve. There we go, there's one. Let's look down here. That one's going. There we go. I kind of want these ones on like full bore at the moment because I want to get as much of the chlorine out of these tanks as I can before I go to add the fish. Just make sure these are seated properly on the shelf. Okay, now let's douse the whole thing in chemicals. Again, not sponsored by them, but I just prefer these products, the Seacom brand. I find them to be very useful for starting aquariums like this. With this one, you only need to do, let's see, for every 10 gallons, use 1 capful for the first day. Now, I'm not really stressing about over dousing this tank because, again, this is a new tank. Nothing's in here. I won't have any livestock in here for a couple weeks now. But once I do get those livestock in here, then I want to do a water change beforehand. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to do 1 capful. Throw that in. Same with the bottom one. Do another capful down here. Now I am dark starting these tanks, so I don't have lights for these yet. But once I get the lights, then the process should start a lot quicker for the what's it called? The cycle to start. Oh man, this stuff always stinks. That's one thing about this. I can't remember if it says it on here, but it stinks. Sulfur odor is normal. It smells like a fart in a can. It is so bad. So again, I'm just gonna do probably to the first. There we go. You don't want a lot with this. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm kind of at the first thread on the Seacom. You don't want to overdo this one. This is the one that you don't want to overdo. Okay, now that'll detoxify and everything. I'm kind of running low on this Aquarium food. This is the one that I use for all of my tanks except for my beta tank. I use this in my saltwater and I use this in my 40-gallon tank. I prefer this, and then about once or twice the rest of the week, maybe more, I'll give them the San Francisco Bay bloodworms. But I'm just gonna get a little pinch full. Just kind of sprinkle it on top of each tank, just so that way we do have that biological, or the beneficial bacteria and everything actually blooming in these tanks. Okay. Now that that's going, I think we're kind of in a good spot to kind of leave it here. And then I'll cut back to you guys in a couple weeks or whenever and actually show me setting up the next part where I build the auto like fish nursery that'll actually use negative energy, or not negative energy, negative water flow to suck the eggs, or negative air pressure to suck the eggs right out of the aquarium and into a breeder box. And then I'll take those fish and then keep them in there. And then once they grow big enough, I'll pour them right into the grow out tank. So, but yeah, I will cut to you guys in about a week and a half or so. Okay guys, so what you're gonna wanna get for the next step is a Penplex Aqua Nursery. This will be the beneficial part for breeding these automatically in a sense. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this piece of like a mesh canvas. You're gonna wanna put this inside of this. So I'll show you that in a minute. And then you're also gonna want this fluval hang-on breeding box. So what'll happen is all of the eggs will come through the aqua hatchery in a like negative pressure way and then come up and into this. So let's go ahead and open this stuff and then we'll get started. You're gonna wanna get this Penplex open. Okay, so here we go. This is what it looks like. So let's just go ahead and open these up. So I won't even need my scissors. Oof. Okay, sorry about that. I had to move my cat. Okay, so let's just get all this stuff out of here. Okay, so the way this is gonna work is this will sit in here like so. So it'll sit in here. You put the mesh on top of this, and then when the mesh sits on top of this, the eggs will fall right through, and then negative air pressure will just send it this way. So we'll get, where is it? This one? No, that's to this. And this, yes, we do want this. So this will go on like so. Just like that. This piece will connect to here. Ooh. And this piece will connect to here. Like so. Okay, so now that we got that, this piece should be done. Put that off to the side. Let's open up the breeder box here. Okay, so now this is going to be the piece that'll hang on to your tank. So we'll open up this bag here. Ooh, damn. Just gonna cut this bag open. This one's got some super adhesive tape on it for some reason. Need that. Kind of just dump all this stuff out here. Okay. So this will go right on here like this. Where's that piece? Oh, it's right here. This piece will go right on there. And you can put this on here. I think this will go on somewhere in here. Can't remember how that goes on. And you can put this on to protect, but then what we're gonna wanna do, you can put this piece on, like so, I think. We'll hold off on doing that. But what we do need now is this pipe. So now this one here, you're gonna wanna go and get a 1/2 inch inter diameter, not outer diameter, so 1/2 inch. Doesn't really matter on the thickness on the outside. I mean, if you care about losing temperature in your water on the traveling, but I don't think that will really play an effect here, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, now that we got this open, now with my tank, it's not a big tank, so we're not gonna need a lot of tubing. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go measure how much I need. So I'll realistically need about this much, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut just a little bit more than I actually need, just to be on the safe side. Like so. And now what we'll do is attach this piece to here, like so. And now we've got that there. And then this piece will go, I think I do need that other one. Yeah, I do. So this piece will need to go on here, but it's got this gasket here. I guess I just kind of gotta turn it to keep it on there. And this piece will go just right around this. There we go. Okay. And now you have this makeshift contraption to kind of catch eggs and breed them. Let's move this piece to the side. And now what we will do is we will cut the mesh for this. So let's get the rest of this stuff out of the way here because we won't need it. And then let's go ahead and open this. It doesn't hurt to grab, where did that go? There it is. I will need that. Now, it won't hurt to grab the big ones of these, the multiple count. If you don't know when you might need them, it's better to just pick them up than to pick up a bunch than just one and then you need to buy more at a later date. Now, the person that I originally watched do this did a specific type of glue. They used hot glue. I'm going to use, I might make a bad decision here, but I'm going to use Loctite super glue. I just have to wait for this to fully dry before I introduce it into the tank. So what I'm going to grab so you're going to want to get yourself a paper plate or something to kind of trace on. Just set this on there. Get yourself a Sharpie. And then just kind of so there's like your rough outlining of the size that you'll need. Now, you probably want to do this not right in the center because then you can use this mesh again, but here we are making bad decisions. So I'm just gonna get in here. Just kind of cut this. Ooh. Okay, just like so. And then we're gonna kind of want this to sit in here a little bit so that way we have extra room. Actually, that might be near perfect. No, I'm gonna want just a little bit off the top here and right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get as close to this piece as I can. Cut that off. There you go. That looks pretty good to me. because we want this to sit flush in there, right? So what we'll do now, kind of get this stuff out of the way. Ooh, it is hot in my apartment. And this is like under pressure. So now what we're gonna wanna do is just kind of trace the outline of this. Okay, so kind of put that on the top there. And then just lay this flat. Give it a few seconds. Starting to get there. While that's drying, we'll just come to this side. Ooh. Okay, now it's kind of just a waiting game for this to dry. So I'll come back when this is dry. Okay, so now we're back here in the fish room, and we're gonna kind of do a placement of where we want this to go. So we're gonna wanna put this in the tank, right? So it's gonna be somewhere around in here. And what we're gonna do is just gonna wanna kind of float this in here. So that's in there. Just want to kind of throw this in there just like that. And now that we got that in there, I'm actually going to want to take the water line that we installed in the tank below. We're going to want to put it in here because we're going to want to pull the water up from down in there. So now what we're gonna do, attach this up here, put this piece of tubing in here like this. I'm actually gonna, I'm gonna need to cut this a lot. Holy crap, I didn't think about that. So let me get my scissors. Got way too much piping there. So I'm gonna want to just kind of get all that water out of there. So I realistically only need about that much. Okay. Put this pipe to the side. So maybe just move this down over this way. And then let's attach this. Let's pull this whole thing out. God, I need to cut this some more. Okay, give me 1 second while I fix this. Okay, that looks just about right. So now the air pressure should pull the eggs out of this into here and then straight up. Whew. And then I did just put these in here, so I doubt we're gonna have any immediate action going on. But yeah. Okay guys, so that's gonna be it for this video. So I'm gonna be checking this every day and hopefully I get some eggs in here. The only downside is I don't have a light at the moment. I'm gonna need to get a light. Those are gonna be like 30 bucks on Amazon. I'm just gonna get the normal Hygger lights that I do get and then just use some command strips underneath here to actually prop it up. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please like it and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.